Hello, whoever you are. This is day two of the Norway cruise. First up, we'll talk about breakfast. The breakfast was mostly good. The only thing worth knowing is the I had a donut that was pretty bad. Don't know what was going on there, but yeah, everything else it was all standard breakfast food, really, the kind of stuff you'd expect. Um, like buffet style. There's not much we could go over there. After that, we had the Norway talk from a British guy who has been living in Norway for over 10 years now. And that one was interesting to hear. He was talking about the good and bad things of Norway. If I recall, I think he said Norway was very good for all the nature, scenery, and also how easy it is to get to said nature and scenery. And then he said it was bad because, it can get really snowy. And also it's constant daylight during the summer, which makes it hard to sleep. And he also talked about how the homes can be heated by using all the excess heat in from power generation, and how this and they just use that excess heat to heat homes. And he says that's not as common in Britain. Which was interesting. He also talked about how common heat pumps were. And he also said that the most popular thing he sees read about on his blog about or his website about living in Norway is just about heat pumps, which is certainly something I wouldn't have expected. But apparently, heat pumps are of great interest. He also mentioned how Norway, you know, mines, so that word, mines a lot of oil, and yet doesn't need oil to heat their homes because it's basically all hydro, or hydro everywhere. Did I say heating homes? I meant energy. Like they get oil, but they don't need enough energy because it's all hydropower. Hydropower for all the energy, and therefore they sell the oil. Apparently, half the oil they sell to the UK. So there we go. Um, Moving on from Norway guy, we also had a talk from astronomers, which is interesting. They did they played the classic video of comparing the size of, the planets in our solar system to the sun, and then to larger and larger stars until you get to, XY Canis Majoris, which is like one of the biggest stars known. And then it goes on to show how that compares to the size of galaxies, and then galaxy filaments, and then the observable universe, which is all stuff I'd already seen. But they showed some other stuff I didn't know about, like how there's like a star called the North Star, and basically how everything you see moving in the sky relates to that, and there isn't really an equivalent in the South. There's no like South Star, and everything revolves around. I couldn't remember everything said there, but it was something along those lines. Um, I think we went to that talk after lunch, and I think I was giving myself a bit of a food coma because I was ended up struggling to stay awake during that. As for lunch, lunch was good. Again, I think went to a buffet, and it wasn't anything noteworthy about the food except that afterwards we got gelato after lunch, and gelato was mostly fine. It wasn't at the level of a lot of gelato places in Italy, but yeah, for a cruise ship, the gelato you would expect was pretty good. Now, when we get to the evening, the main thing we did in the evening was we went to a show where a group was singing and dancing songs from eras from the 60s to the 10s, and that was pretty good. The people on stage were both singing and dancing. They were constantly swapping out costumes to be era appropriate. So yeah, all very impressive there. And after that, we went to another quiz. And unlike yesterday, this quiz wasn't very easy. It wouldn't surprise me if the quizzes get harder as they go along. This one was, I would say, average level of difficulty. I think my family, we got 11 out of 15, and didn't win. I think one group managed to get 15 out of 15, which sort of surprised me. But anyway, and then we went outside to see if we could see the Northern Lights or we could see any stars. We could see a few stars, but not a whole lot. No Northern Lights to speak of. Apparently, there were Northern Lights seen in Britain, so we kind of got on a ship to see the Northern Lights, and that's allowed us to not see the Northern Lights. So that's ironic, but that happens in weather. But anyway, yeah, that's the summary of day 2.